Chapter 10. They left and I ate. I feed at dark whenever possible. It's not the way I do at home, but I must be careful not to be seen. When I run in open space, it must either be dark or Tobias must watch over me. My friends tell me that from a distance I look like a normal Earth animal, a deer, perhaps a horse, but if any humans saw me clearly, he would immediately know I'm not an Earth species. So I eat at night, running wildly through the open grassy fields where Cassie's farm meets the edge of the forest. I run beneath a single moon, so different from the moons of my world. The moon of Earth rises and sets. On some nights it cannot be seen at all. There are always at least 2 moons in our sky. When all 4 moons are in the night sky, it's nearly as bright as day. Home. Billions of miles away. Sometimes I hurt from thinking about my home. A warrior has overcome that. But nights when I stood alone in the forest or ran alone in the fields, I couldn't help but think of home. And now it was worse. So much worse, thinking that I could actually talk to them if I wanted to. I could turn the human's telescope into a Z-space communicator, but if I did, I would break my own law. I would give the humans advanced technology. I couldn't do that. I wasn't Elvingor. I couldn't just decide to break the law of Sarah's kindness. But in the back of my mind, there was another thought. I had already transferred the technical software to the humans. It was an accident, so I hadn't broken the rules. If I went to the observatory to wipe out the damaged software, I'd be doing the right thing. I could go to the observatory and erase the software. Before I did, I could use what they call my home. Would that be wrong? In my memory, I saw myself with my father and mother, and Elfangor was there too. He was alive in my memory. I remember when I was very little and Elfangor, who's already a great warrior, came home on leave. I barely knew him. I'd seen his communications, but I'd never seen him face to face. But he'd been away while I was born, off fighting the Yeerks. But we went running together, just the 2 of us, me all clumsy, him like a creature from myth, so fast and powerful. It was kind of a shock to me. Until then, I guess I thought I was the most important person in the family, but it was very hard to feel important with Elfangor around. He didn't say much. He didn't give me some big brother lecture. He was just himself. He talked to me the same way he talked to my parents. He never treated me like I was younger, and that was great. After that, there was no question in my mind what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wanted to be a warrior. I wanted to be like Elfangor. And now he was gone. My parents might not even know. For sure they didn't know I was still alive. I slowed my run. I swam so far across the fields I could see the lights on Cassie's farm. Foolish. I was so wrapped up in my thoughts I'd grown careless. I turned to head back toward the forest. You might as well hang around for a while, a voice said. Cassie. She loomed up from the darkness. How had I missed her? I looked closer. She began to change. She kept her own human face, but a ghostly gray mane of a horse. Her legs and hooves and not human feet. You morphed a horse, I said. As soon as she's fully human, she responded. I do that sometimes. I like running, but don't tell Jake. He'd be mad for using morphing for personal things. I do not believe he'd be angry. I am no expert at humans, but I believe Prince Jake has a special affection for you. She laughed quietly. I doubt it. I'm just a friend. And a fellow Animorph. Then why do I see you sometimes hold hands and intertwine your fingers? Oh. Well, you aren't supposed to see that. Why not? It's kind of a long story. He's not ready to know about human intercourse. Just forget about it, okay? How's your study on humans going? I have read the World Almanac. So what do you think? I think humans are interesting. Uh-huh. And what do you really think? I hesitated. She didn't want a more complete answer, but he could never be sure, often to be offended by small things. I think there is a second reason the Yeerks wish to enslave your species. You mean aside from having a lot of hosts? Why? They're afraid of you. Afraid of us? Why? She laughed. Are you reading all stuff about wars? Humans aren't just fighting wars. It may seem that way, but every species fights wars, I said. In the past, Andalites made war to other Andalites, and Heart-Bajir used to have a biological time clock to set them all warring every 62 years. And the Taxons, they're cannibals. Well, we humans aren't exactly perfect. Every species has something to be ashamed of, I said. Every species carries some terrible guilt. She looked at me, and I could see her wondering whether I meant Andalites as well, but she decided not to ask that question, instead she asked another. So if it isn't wars that bother you, what is it? You discovered radioactivity in 1896, and in 1945 you exploded an atomic weapon. 49 years. In 1903 you flew for the first time, and 66 years later you landed on the moon. You really did read it, huh? Were you saying we do things quickly? I'm saying if the Yeerks will destroy you now, they know that in 50 years from now humans will be capable of faster and light travel. And 100 years from now, who knows? How long did it take you Andalites to do those things? I don't remember. I lied. I see. Cassie said. I believe her tone of voice was disappointed. I hung my head. I am bound by my oath as an Andalite warrior. We must never give Andalite technology to our species, and we try not to, talk about ourselves as our species. It's not pathetic even to me. Not even if it might help us beat the Yeerks, but isn't that what your brother did when he gave us the power to morph? I couldn't think of an answer. It was true, of course. Elvengor had broken our laws. Did I say something wrong? I am not Elvengor, said finally. I'm more like you, just a young one. He was a great prince. My people might understand and forgive what he did because he's an important person. I see. You know what? Why don't you morph to human and come inside? You can meet my mom and dad. We're just about to have dinner. I have eaten already. She raised an eyebrow. You've eaten, huh? She's gonna be able to ask me a question and decide against it. Okay, but you can still come in. You don't have to eat much. Just hang out. Come on, it'll do you good. Do me good? Do I seem ill? No, just lonely. You seem very lonely. The word pierced me. I was surprised how much it hurt. Yes, I was lonely, but I didn't think the humans noticed. How would you explain to my family who I was? She shrugged. You were Jake once, right? So be Jake. Oh no. Chapter 11. Humans have very odd tastes. They think their music is beautiful, but they are wrong. It was awful. All of it, and I completely ignored their greatest accomplishment, the cinnamon bun, the Snicker bar, the hot pepper, and the refreshing beverage called vinegar. Yes, he just drank straight vinegar. Being in Prince Jake's body is no different from being my regular human morph, except it is slightly larger. Since Morph was formed from his DNA, I looked exactly like him. Cassie insisted I borrow a garment called overalls and a pair of boots in her barn before I entered. Humans are very particular about clothing. I still do not understand why. Hi Jake, Cassie asked you to muck out of the barn again? Cassie's father asked me as I walked into the house. He was male, as all human fathers are. His hair was dark brown but seemed to be removed from much of his head. He wore round, transparent lenses on his face, which I am told is for correcting faulty vision. His complexion is darker, but he had the usual amount of arms and legs. No, she asked me to eat your food. Well, if someone has to eat it, may as well be you, it suffers. I cooked tonight, my world-famous chili. Cassie's eyes suddenly wide and she looked frightened. Oh! Chili, Jake said he wasn't hungry. He already ate. Is chili a very frightening food? Her father grinned. Mine is. Is that Jake I hear out there? Someone called. A female appeared to assume it was Cassie's mother. She had dark hair, much more than Cassie's father. Her hair had not been removed. Balding. She stuck her two arms in my direction and walked toward me. Oh, you get more handsome every time I see you, Jake. She wrapped her two arms around me and squeezed me briefly and then released me. Are you staying for the chili of doom? Yes, I am asked him to join us, Cass said, but he's not very hungry. He just stays, so he probably won't want any chili. Cassie's mother smiled at Cassie's father. Isn't it precious the way she tries to protect him? Too late, Cassie's father said. He's trapped now. There is no escape. In order to eat, we had to sit down in front of the table. I had done this for impersonating Prince Jake at Prince Jake's home, so I knew how to do it. I knew what a fork was, and also a spoon and a knife. I discovered chili is brown and red and contains several ingredients and smells a lot. There's also something called jalapeno cornbread and a bowl of pieces of different fruits. There are so many warnings. After so many warnings, I was very nervous about tasting the chili, but I sensed that Cassie's father would be offended if I did not try some. So, I ate a spoonful. And I think, as long as I live, I will never forget that experience. The chili was hot in temperature, but also hot in a totally new way. The taste buds of my human tongue seemed to explode. They burned with an intensity of flavor unlike nothing I'd ever tasted before or since. Every nerve in my body seemed to tingle. Water dribbled from the tiny ducts beside my eyes. It was not as wonderful as chocolate, but it was intense. So incredibly intense. Oh, an Andalite would never understand. This is what being human is about. Taste, the glory of it, the incredible wonder. This is a wonderful food, I cried. Excuse me, Casimir said. Aha! At last! Someone who understands the joy of hot food, Cassie's father cried. I realized I ate my entire bowl of the marvelous chili and I wanted more. That taste, that feeling, I needed more. There's plenty more, Cassie's father said. He filled my bowl again. Jake, Cassie said, you really don't eat that much. I'll eat yours, I cried. My eyes were bulging from my head, my skin was tingling, my stomach was making sounds, but still I wanted more. Oh, jeez. Those sounds and those tinglings are your body telling you to stop, but he isn't listening. I love this kid, Cassie's father said. I wonder if his parents will let us adopt him. Jake, you're a very discerning, intelligent young man. He's insane, Cassie's mother said. There's no other explanation. Suddenly I felt a sharp pain in my leg. I suspected Cassie had kicked me. I looked at her, she smiled sweetly and kicked me again. That's probably enough chili. She stared at me in a very direct way. Yes, that is enough chili. I pushed the bowl away. Chili. I used Hanberno and chilies, and Cassie's father said, the hottest substance on demand. Not as high as the temperature created during nuclear fusion, I point out. So how was school, Jake? His mother asked. I knew what this activity was. It's called making conversation. The rules are each person would ask the other person a question. It is fine. How is your work caring for animals? Oh, same old, same old. Though we are about to have some new camel babies. That sounds cute. No, now I'm just imagining the baby camel spitting at you and that's not so cute anymore. Cassie's mother's a veterinarian at a zoo, a place where non-human animals are kept. Non-human animals, that's a fun way of putting it. So, Jake, you think the Bulls are going all the way again this year? Cassie's father asked. I got to say how Cassie wasn't growing tense. She was afraid I would not understand the question, but thanks to my reading the World Almanac knew the Bulls was a sports team. Yes, I answered, they can go all the way. That was then my turn to ask a question. That is how making conversation works. So, did you know the cream separator was invented in 1878? Apparently they did not know. Cassie, her mother, and father all stared at me in surprise. After that, we watched television for a while. It was a fictional depiction of a family. I watched it and watched Cassie and her parents. A human family was a good thing to learn about. I'd seen Prince Jake's family and now seeing Cassie's family. They were different in some ways. For example, Prince Jake's family performed a brief religious ritual before they eat. Cassie's family does not. And in Prince Jake's family, the father falls asleep while watching television. In Cassie's family, it's the mother who started to fall asleep. I must go, told Cassie. It's been almost 2 of your hours. Cassie's mother revived along to say I was crazy, but still so cute. Her father winked his left eye at me and waved as I left. Then he laughed at something on television. Outside in the air, Cassie sighed heavily. Well, we got through that without being too much of a disaster. Come on, I'll walk you on a way so you can morph back. By the way, here's a book for you since you're done with the World Almanac. It's a book of quotes, stuff famous people said. She held out for me a take. Thank you, I said. It felt strange walking in the dark, walking away from Cassie's home. Strange, as if it were cold out, although it wasn't. Aww. So what'd you think of my parents? Cassie asked. I like them, I said, but why did your father remove the hair from his head? Hair. I meant to ask him, but I forgot. He's going bald, I said. It's probably better not to mention. It's a normal thing for humans, but some people get sensitive. Ah, yes, my father's hooves are getting dull, too. That's normal, so I don't like to talk about it. What's your father like? And your mother? They're just normal parents. They're very nice. They are... Go on. My throat feels strange, like there's an obstruction. I'm having difficulty speaking. Is this normal? She put her arm beneath mine. You missed them. That's normal. An Andalite warrior may spend years in space far from home and family. That's normal. Ash, you said yourself. You may be a warrior, but you're still a kid, too. I stopped walking. I was far from the light of the house. I could change back, but I realized, without being seen, I realized I was looking up at the stars. Where are they? Cassie asked, pointing in the direction of my gaze. If you're allowed to tell me that. I pointed my human fingers in the quadrant of space. My home star twinkled. There. I watched the stars and melt out of my human shape and return to my true body. Actually, no, Jake and Tobias and me, even Rachel and Marco, we all care for you. You know that, right? You're not just some alien to us. Thank you for the chili, I said. It was wonderful. Once more in Andalite, I ran for the forest. I spent part of the night reading that book of quotes. I should have been resting, but I felt disturbed. More and more I thought how easy I could turn the radio telescope at the observatory into a deep-space transmitter. They did kind of like my parents feeling sadness and longing. They could tell me what to do, I thought. They could give me instructions. And another part I thought, wouldn't they be proud of him fighting against the Yeerks? They would say, oh, he's another Elfangor, a hero. I wasn't proud of thinking that, but I have to tell the truth, and the truth was I want everyone back home to think I was very brave all alone on Earth. Already in my mind, a plan was taking shape. I found a quiet place and prepared to sleep. I closed my main eyes, leaving only my stalk eyes open for danger. I relaxed my tail until it touched the ground. Lonely. Yes, it was lonely to sleep in a forest on a planet far from home. Lonely to be the only one of my kind. It was lonely knowing that Cassie sleep in her home and Marco and his and Rachel and Jake. They all had homes, all but for me and Tobias. Tobias, he'd understand, but would he help me? If I did what I was planning, would he help? And could I trust him? I raised my tail and opened my main eyes. I knew the place where Tobias slept and found him easily. He stood with his sharp talons wrapped around a branch. Tobias, I called. Axe, what's the matter? Nothing is the matter, but I have a question. I hope it's a good one. I was sleeping. Tobias, are you my friend? That's what you woke me up to ask? He opened his wings and seemed to be stretching. Axe were the two strangest creatures on a planet, a freaky, four-eyed, half-deer, half-scorpion, centaur-looking alien, a bird with the mind of a person. We fought side by side, we'd nearly been killed several times. Of course I'm your friend. It surprised me an answer so quickly, as if there was any doubt what the answer would be. Or rather, as if there was never any doubt. That's good. Would you keep a secret? Even from Prince Jake? Even from Rachel? He was silent for a while. Is it something that would hurt my friends? No. Then I'll keep a secret, I swear. What do you swear by, Tobias? I have to be sure. What promise can you never break? Actually, you know I was there when your brother was killed. Yes, I know, you're the last to leave him. Yeah, I don't know why, but something about him. I couldn't explain, but I was drawn to him. Like, I wanted to listen to him, wanted to hear everything he said, like he was a magnet that I couldn't pull away from until he ordered me to leave. I can't explain it. You don't have to explain, I said softly. Even here among aliens, Elfangor was a hero. You asked what I'd swear by. I'll swear by him, by Prince Elfangor. And so, I told Tobias my plan. Chapter 13, E.T. Phone Home. When I found that sentence in Cassie's book of human quotes surprised me. To be honest, it almost scared me, as if it were written just for me. I thought maybe they'd somehow discovered my plan and written it there. Just a coincidence. The sun was just coming up over planet Earth. I performed the morning rituals I always did, but I was especially impatient that morning. I knew Tobias was hunting a morning meal would be back soon, and when he finished off eating some unfortunate mouse or shrew. Freedom is my only cause, duty by people my only guide, obedience to my prince my only glory. When Tobias returned, we would go. He would lead me at observatory to a great radio telescope, and with luck I'd be able to call my home. I, Exilmi Iskrothish Till, offer my life. With my stalk eyes, I saw a hawk swoop low overhead. Tobias rested on a branch, and he focused his fierce hawk eyes on me. Are you done? Yes, the ritual is complete. Great, because it's a beautiful day for flying, thermals like you wouldn't believe, and a sweet little breeze for an easy takeoff. Tobias, you understand you don't have to do this. There may be danger. Yeah, come on, Axe, let's go already. I often go flying with Tobias. The bird morph I have is called a northern harrier. It's a type of hawk about the same size as redtail. Tobias' fur is mostly brown and light tan, while the hair is mostly gray and white. I control my excitement and worry and focus on making the change. The hairy morph is always strange. There was a great deal of difference between the size of an andalite and a bird, even a large one. The first sensation was falling as I shrank rapidly. My stalk eyes went blind and wings grabbed my front legs, which was very awkward. It caused me to fall forward on the ground, since I cannot stand on my hind legs alone. Besides, my hind legs are basically shriveling down to tiny, scaly bird legs. And my tail is shrinking and splitting in dozens of long feathers. Harriers also have mouths like humans, but these are useless for speech and have very little ability for taste. But they have wonderful natural weapons. They are razor sharp and curved down to a ripping, tearing hook. And the talons are excellent. I've long admired his use of talons. Tobias can swoop fast and low, just a few feet above the ground, and snatch a mouse or small rabbit with them. As I watched the blue and tan furs played by silver-gray feathers, the fur melted away to show the underlying flesh, then it came patterned with millions of individual ribs of feathers. I was used to the mind of the harrier, so I learned to control its instincts. They are more forceful now than the brains of humans. I've been meaning to ask you, Axe, Tobias said, not a dish or anything, but why is Cassie better at morphing than you are? I mean, you're an andalite, but you look just creepy if Jake and Rachel do it. Cassie has talents, I said a little grumpily, morphing as I happen to be my talents. Oh, well, you ready to fly? I checked, opened my wings are full, free and half foot spread. I flicked my tail feathers, focused my laser like hawkeyes on a distant tree, so I was able to see the individual ants. I listened as far as the hairy superior hearing, and hear the insects pop beneath the pine needles. I could hear a squirrel chewing open a nut. I could hear Tobias' heart beating. Wow, they really do have good ears. I turned the breeze open my wings and flapped several times, lifting my legs clear. The breeze caught me and I was off. Even with that, I had to flap hard to get high over the tree, as high as the treetops. Tobias started several dozen feet above me, but then Tobias had had a great deal of practice. I can see Cassie's farm now, and as I circled to use updraft more altitude to see all the familiar landmarks, the homes of others, the mall, the school. Stick with me, Tobias said, we'll follow the water's edge. The observatory is north along the coast, about an hour's flying time. I reached the ocean, there are cliffs along the shore, and here the real thermals rose up. A thermal is an updraft of heated air. Flying into one is like flying into an elevator or drop shaft. The updraft catches your wings and lifts you up and up. It's a fantastic, giddy, wild feeling. We want to get above the gulls, Tobias started. Sometimes seagulls get obnoxious, they'll storm a hawk if they're in the wrong mood. It was exhilarating. We were thousands of feet above the ground. Down below, humans lay on the beach wearing less clothing than normal. Clothing is a strange human habit. They must wear it all the time, except at the beach where they may wear less. I don't understand this. The World Almanac has no explanation, although I did know the United States imported $36.7 billion worth of clothing. Keep an eye up on the guy up there, Tobias said. Where? What? I asked, shaking out my thoughts. A Peregrine falcon, probably looking to pick a few tasty gulls, but he might decide to look tender. He's small but fast. Mean, too. I get the feeling Tobias knows this one in particular. He's like, ah, that guy. I thought it must be terrible sometimes for Tobias. He lives in fear of things no human would need to fear. He had lost position at the top of the food chain of Earth. Hawks are predators, but they are also prey. But he seemed to have accepted this. Was it possible he preferred being a hawk? Was that why I never asked him about him being a Nothit? Or did he think I would refuse to answer, or worse, lie? Fortunately, the falcon ignored us when we flew on following the coastline. Soon we left to stay behind. The beaches were gone too. The coastline grew more rugged, with the waves that crashed and exploded into foam against jagged, broken rocks. A single road wound across the coast below us. There were cars on it, but few buildings, and there I just saw a large white structure. Actually, several structures. A tall building with a dome top and arrayed in various positions were large, white, flattened bowls. It took me several seconds to figure out their purpose. That's the radio telescope, I laughed. You're still using dish arrays? Won't they work for whatever it is you're doing? Tobias asked. Oh yes, they should work. If I gain access to computers, they should work very well. It's just that they're so primitive. I don't suppose you want to tell me what we're doing, huh? Doing? We're flying. Oh, very funny. Suddenly you have a sense of humor. Great. Chapter 14. The large building with the dome, I asked Tobias, so the observatory, is that where the computers would be? Maybe. That's why they have the regular telescope, I think, but they may have control sensors and computers there too. I looked at my incredible vision. There's a huge rectangular opening. Inside I could see a vast circle of glass and I laughed in recognition. A telescope, an actual optical telescope? What can they possibly believe that will show them? It'll show them a red-tailed harrier and a red-tail and a harrier flying around together looking at lost tourists, Tobias said. According to Marco, this place isn't really operating yet, so I don't know how many people will be around, but we need to find a place to land so you can morph into something useful and do whatever. Tobias, is that sarcasm, the way you asked me what I'm doing? No, not sarcasm. I think it's called being snide. I think that is what it's called, actually, yes. I do that a lot. Ah, thanks for explaining. Why not fly straight into the dome? Why not? Tobias agreed. He led the way down. We dived at high speed, rocking down through the air. The brilliant white dome rushed up, and I shot for the open rectangle and banked sharply to the right. It was much darker inside than out. Below me was an incredibly long tube with a telescope. I see doors down below, probably offices, probably computers in all the offices. You'll find one that's empty. We'll see if we can find one that's empty. Yes, that'll be good, but I will need fingers for whatever it is I'm doing. We circled swiftly around the inside of the dome. As I flew, I kept expecting to see humans below, but they never appeared. This place is empty, Tobias says. Yes, it seems almost abandoned. Tobias, I'm going down. My morph time is running short. Now is when I would go on alone. Yeah, gotcha. Good luck, Axeman. Whatever you're doing, be careful. He swept up and out of the dome, and I was alone. I drifted down to the floor to land on a table. There's a computer console workstation, but no humans in sight. I saw an open door leading to what seemed to be a dark and empty office. I flapped my wings twice and was inside. Harrier eyes, like hawk eyes, are adapted for daylight. They are not very good in the dark, but the harrier also has extremely good hearing. I dimly saw a desk and came to rest on it. Then I concentrated on listening. I was alone in the room. I was certain of that. The only human sounds I heard came through the walls. Conversation. I cannot make out the sounds. I seem concentrated in one area. Axe, can you hear me? It was Tobias. His thought speech was faint. Just barely answered. I'm outside. I'm looking a window here. I see vent in a room with some kind of meeting. Yes, I can hear them. I said, can you keep watch? Let me know if they come this way. Yeah, if any leaves the I'll know. I can barely hear you. I said I'm going to morph. Can't very well, but go. My plan was to morph to a normal andalite, but then quickly move to human just in case any humans saw me. But I was tired from the flight. Morphing is very tiring, especially quick morphing. And if I had to make an escape, I mean passing around andalite body to move back to Harrier. I'd never be able to handle that many changes in a short time. I decided to risk staying in andalite form. Besides, if it worked and I reached my home, I wish one of my parents had known me when they saw me. I began demorphing. I can only hope the device would give me enough warning. You know, I love being a bird. It was good to feel my tail form again. Andalite without a tail is just sad. And no matter how powerful Hawk's eyes can be, they only look in one direction at a time. As my stalk eyes reformed, I breathed a sigh of relief. I could again see in all directions. There was no computer in the office. I was very annoyed. It made me have to go back to the observatory to use the computer there. My hooves slipped on the polished floor. I swung my eyes in every direction, keeping a sharp lookout. I pushed a chair away from the computer workstation, again typing an antique keyboard. The screen asked me for a password. Password? I laughed. I disabled the security system to confirm that Marco's father's new software is already in place. Good, that make it easier. As quick as I could, I wrote down a virus that swiftly transformed the software to control the radio telescope. Since humans have no awareness of Z-space, they don't understand that powerful radio receiver could be tuned in such a way to create a Z-space vacuum and open a cross-dimensional gateway. Once I had a small hole in Z-space, those child's play used the same receivers to modulate and reflect the background radiation to a coherent signal. And the hard part would be using thought speech to control a signal. That would take absolute concentration. I also don't want to gloss over the fact that he just could easily ignore the password screen and then just write a virus that would alter how the computer worked in such a way to adjust what he's doing. It's just that easy for him, apparently. Our computers are just that primitive. I hope the word I couldn't hear was okay. It took about 10 Earth minutes to adjust the radio telescope. 10 minutes I moved the human science head by a century or so. 10 minutes completely violate andalite law. I was done. The system was ready. I pressed the enter key. The thousands of lines of computer language appeared on the computer's screen and went blank. I focused on it as sharply as I could. I pictured a coherent signal. I pictured that beam going from my own head. Andalite home, I thought. Andalite home. The screen flickered. A face appeared. It was a hard and suspicious face. But it was an Andalite face. Who is this, Andalite demand? This is a high-security link. You are an authorized sender. State your name and location. My name is Axilmi Iskaroth Ishtil. I'm brother of Elfangor Serenol Shantal, son of Norlin Serenol Koroth and Forle Iskaroth Mahin. The Andalite stared at me. Elfangor's brother, he wondered, what is your location? My location is the planet called Earth. Chapter 15. Earth. Yes. Is Prince Elfangor with you? For a moment my concentration wavered when I lost the signal, but then I focused. This is too important, my emotions messed up. Who are you? I asked. He looked surprised I would ask. I am Iltharion Halas Kolran, assistant to the head of planetary communications. Thank you, Iltharion. My brother's life ended. The dome ship was destroyed. I am the only survivor. I could see he was surprised and his eyes were downcast, and he lowered his stalk eyes in a gesture of grief. Your brother was a great warrior, and I mourn also for the many warriors aboard that dome ship. Elfangor is the greatest, I said. My family doesn't know he's dead. I'd like you to connect me with him. Could get interrupted any minute. I will do that, as soon as your family is found and connected, but first, give me your report, Arnish Axilmi. I tried to quickly organize my thoughts. The Yeerks are here in force. There's at least one mothership, and also one blaze ship on the Visor 3 and numerous bug fighters. The humans are unaware of the invasion. I do not know how many humans have made to control. It must be thousands at least. I took a deep breath and tried to hold my concentration. How much should I tell Iltharion? Then Earth is lost to the Yeerks? No, I said sharply. Earth is not lost. There is a small resistance. A few humans, young, Arnish like me. I fight alongside them. But surely there's no hope of victory. We have hurt the Yeerks. We destroyed a control that is in place on this planet. That got his attention. That definitely got his attention. You destroyed a Yeerk Cadrona. How did you manage that? You and a handful of human youths. It's time to either tell them the full truth or decide to lie. The humans have the power to morph. Visor 3 believes they're a small band of escaped Andalites. Earth has many strange animals, and with morphing we use this species to attack the Yeerks. Humans who morph, and how did they come by this technology? It was given to them by Elfangor. He looked startled and his eyes darted aside and quickly disappeared from the screen, and was placed to another Andalite. I was stunned because I instantly recognized his face. Instantly, I just realized how he could have lied to him right there. He could have just said, since the morphing thing comes from like the box they put their hand on, he could have just said, oh, they found the box before it got destroyed. It's like, evidence and stuff. And then they escaped the Yeerks, which they actually did do in the books, so that'd be somewhat plausible, but I guess they might be suspicious about that. Anyway. I instantly recognized his face. He was very old, but his power seemed to vibrate through the screen across all the light years that separated us. Lirim Arapoteros, head of the council, veteran of more battles than I can count. His appearance on the screen would make me lose concentration. I was too awed to dare. You know who I am. Yes, I know you. I mean, I don't know you, but I know who you are. He ignored my babbling. I'm mourning the loss of your brother and all aboard the ship. Now tell me, did Elfangor break our laws and give technology to the humans? Well, the humans were helpless. Our force been destroyed. There's understanding between humans and total domination. They needed some weapon. Lyram stared at me with a gaze that was known to make great princes tremble. And how have you come to contact with us? This is a Z-Space transmission. I made some modification to the primitive human device. So you also break the law. You also transfer technology to the humans. The humans are not our enemies, I said. I sprang up practically yelling. They won't have a chance. These few humans are all resist the Earth's planet. Elfangor knew that. He did what he thought was right. To my surprise, he did not tell me to be silent, but his eyes grew darker and especially more serious. Then he said, Arnish Axilmi, once before there was an Andalite who thought he did the right thing. He transferred technology to a weak and backward species. He did it because he thought they should be able to travel to the stars. Do you know the name of that Andalite? Prince Sero, I said. Prince Sero, yes. He was my first prince. Did you know that? Many centuries ago, Centuries? Okay. Many centuries ago, I was an Arnish like you. He looked hard at me. Do you know what happened because of Sero's kindness? Yes, I said grimly, I know. I have seen what happened because of Sero's kindness. For a moment, no one spoke. He said, Young Axilmi, your brother Elfangor is a hero. People need heroes in this endless war. I do not wish to tell people in the end Elfangor broke the laws. There can be no forgiveness for a prince who broke the laws. Unlike an Arnish. So, I ask you to think again. Was it truly Elfangor who gave this technology to the humans? I couldn't believe what Lyram was asking me to say. He wanted me to lie. He wanted me to clear Elfangor's name. I was wrong that I said Elfangor did this, said Two shocked argument. It was me. I gave him the morphing technology. He continued, cut off from your prince, alone, not yet trained, not yet a true warrior, you broke the laws, Arnish Exilmi. Is this true? Yes, I whispered bitterly. In the name of the council, I forgive your error. What's done is done. Perhaps, in some way I am too old to see, this may all work out for the best. Yes, I said blankly. Why had I done this? Why had I communicated with my home? Arnish Exilmi Iskroth Ishtil, you have done a brave thing, taking on this guilt. I know the temptation to go beyond the law when helping a brave people fight the Yeerks. I was an advisor to the Harbinger. They were our allies, but they are not Andalites. They are not our people. But I knew I should shut up, but part of me was getting angry at this. But the Harbinger ended up losing everything. Iron's eyes are cold. You are an Andalite. You are not human. Obey our laws. I am giving you an order. Resist the Yeerks, but give them no information, no technology. Do you understand my order, Arnish Exilmi? Yes. The fleet is engaged in many parts of the galaxy. We are doing well against the Yeerks, but it'll take some time before we can come to Earth. Fight the Yeerks. If you are half the hero your brother was, you will bring honor on your family. From a scene like far away, I heard a faint voice in my head. Axe on the move. Guy, think he... But that moment, Lyram said, Exilmi, we have your father. He would like to speak with you.